Hi math friends, today we're looking at the writing linear equations from table of values and a graph study guide. Remember that whenever we do these study guides together, the reason that we do these is so you can see not only the answers but how they're done, and hopefully that'll really help us out going forward with what we're learning here. So let's check out this one. We have a table of values here and we want to get a linear equation here. We want to get in the form y equals ax plus b. This is also called mx plus b. In what we've been using though, we've seen ax plus b. So remember that b is going to be the y-intercept. And then a is going to be how this equation increases or decreases as we increase by 1 for x. So we think of it as like a pattern. We also call this slope. So we could think of it either way here. All right, so first let's look for the y-intercept. So remember that that's going to happen when the x value is 0. So I'm looking for x to be 0. And if we have it in our table, then we just know right away what that is. So here, I know right away b is 12. It's the coordinates would be 0, 12, so b is 12. That's where this line touches the y-axis. So now we'll also look for a pattern. So first I want to check that my x values increase by 1. And they do. Like -1 plus 1 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, so now I can see if I have a pattern here. 5 to 12. So that would be plus 7. Let's see if that works. 12 plus 7 would be 19. Add 7 again, we get 26. All right, so this is great. This is what we need. So a equals 7. So now we're going to go back to this form, and I'm going to use the same color yellow here. Y equals, and wherever we have a and b, we're going to replace them or substitute, or like we say, plug and play. Substitute those values in. So a is 7 and b is 12. So now I have this wonderful equation just from that table. And all we needed were these two things, this a and b here. All right, let's see how we do on the next one. Remember, while you're doing these, go ahead and pause and then check out how you're doing with it too. All right, so let's check out a and b for this one. So I'm going to look for where x is 0. So right away I know that b is going to be 4. Now let's check out how our x values go. We go plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. All right, good. So we see a consistent pattern here. 4.3 to 4. Ooh, it looks like it's less, like minus 3/10 or 0.3. And that still works here. If I subtract 0.3 or subtract 3/10, this pattern continues. All right, so if we have that, then a is equal to negative 0.3. And when I write my final equation, y equals a, so negative 0.3, x plus, and for b we just had 4. All right, so we have a decimal there. However, that's our equation. That's what we're looking for. Now this equation is nice because it's simplified. There's nothing else that we need to do to help simplify this equation anymore right now. All right, let's check out another one that's similar here. So we're going to find out what b is, find out what a is. So let's look for x equals 0, and we find it again right here in the table. So that means that our b value is 10. Now look for a pattern as well. So x, if I do plus 1, so this works. All right, let's see how y works. 9 plus 1 would be 10. 10 plus 1 would be 11. All right, so we got a plus 1 here as well. So A is positive 1. So now write our equation. Y equals 1 x plus 10. Typically, a way that you'll see this too, 1 in front of x is 1 times x. So we could also see this as just x plus 10. Either way is correct, but this is the more common way to see it. Let's check out a couple graphs now. So now you have a graph, and we have to look really, really closely and find a couple points for ourselves, right? So we're going to find B and A. So B is going to be on the y-axis because it's the y-intercept. So remember for that, what I want to do is I want to look right on the y-axis. So where does that line, that red line, touch the y-axis? Well, it was right here. So that's 0, 1. I want to find one other point, and I usually want to go to the right to see how this changes. So it's this point here. The x value is 1, and the y value is 5. All right, so how does this help us here? Well, this is B, so B is 1. And then A, so how does this increase? 0 to 1, so x goes up by 1. And then 1 to 5, how does that change? That's a plus 4. So how's that going to help me out? Well, over here I can write plus 4 for A. So now I can write my equation. Y equals 4x plus 1. We just need those two little pieces and then we can write our equation. Really, really interesting. All right, let's look at one more graph here. So same idea, we want to find B and A. So we're seeing patterns here, right? Lots and lots of patterns is how we're learning this well. Let's go ahead and find B again. I'm going to go ahead and use, look at my y-axis and see where does it cross. So be careful with this one. This is actually 0, negative 1. So now your B value is negative, and that's okay. Negative numbers are numbers too, right? So B is negative 1. Now I want to look at, how do I find A? How does this change? Well, let's look at our next point here. This point would be 1, negative 3. All right, so how do I get from negative 1 to negative 3? So that would actually be minus 2. 1 minus 2 would be negative 3. And I see that this line is nice and straight, so that's going to have the same pattern there. So A is going to be negative 2. All right, when we write our equation, we replace A and B with those values. So y equals negative 2x plus negative 1. All right, that's one way you could see it. You could also see it because when we have a plus negative, we could also just write it as negative 2x minus 1. That would be okay too. That'd be the more common way to see it, but either way is correct. Those are both equivalent. All right, math friends, hope that helps. And yeah, pause, rewind, go do whatever you need to with this to help you. All right, we'll see you later.